Hey, this is Brock Wagner, and tune in to Hypo and listen to me talk about some cool snakes and some cool morphs. Hopefully you listen to the show.
It says here we should work in teams. I tend to think of myself as a one-man wolf pack.
You're about to enter information overload, a worldwide transmission with Hypo's featured Breeder of the Week. Here's your host, Jason Rossi.
What's up, world? Welcome back to H3. I'm your host, Jason Rossi. We are streaming live on RossiReptiles.com and, as always, on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and the podcast app on iPhones. All right, well, 2012 has come to an end, and we're still here, and we're going to end it with a bang with a very special guest. Brock Wagner from Brock Wagner Reptiles is this week's featured breeder of the week. Brock, welcome to Hypo.
Hey, thanks, Jason. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you coming out, man. I know you had a little birthday party earlier, so I really appreciate you taking time out, man. I really do.
No problem, buddy, no problem.
All right, well, you hit that Spider GHI, right?
I did. I hit the Fire GHI and the Spider GHI this year, and I think the Spider GHI was done by Matt Lear either last year or the year before. I think he did it last year, if I remember right. So I know I wasn't the first one to hit that, but I think I was the first one to hit the Fire GHI, but I'm not sure. But either way, it was pretty cool. It was really cool, and I really like the GHI morph, and I listened to you had Matt Lear here on your Hypo, didn't you? I think I listened to him.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, the GHI is kind of a fun new morph. It's kind of different. It kind of does some wicked things. You've seen the Mojave GHI, right?
Yeah, that's another one of my favorites.
Yeah, I picked up one of those this year, and he's about 560, 580 grams, and I'm just getting ready to introduce him into the breeding rotation. And one thing that I was talking to another big breeder today, and he has one as well, and he's bringing it to some Mojaves, and his thinking is he thinks it's going to create you've seen the cow pied, the black pastel pied, or the super black pastel pied that Ian Ganowski made. Have you seen that? Do you know what I'm talking about, Jason?
Yes, sir. The panda pied, I sure do.
Yep. Okay, the panda pied. Some people are thinking that if we combine the Mojave GHI with a Mojave, or make this the super Mojave, that maybe we could do the half and half and do like a panda pied. Do you think that's possible, or what's your thoughts? What do you think will happen when we breed a Mojave GHI to a Mojave? What's your thoughts?
I don't know, man. I'm always asking the big guys, like, when you add another gene to that white snake, when are we going to start seeing some pattern on it? And they're, basically saying it washes out, but I don't know about this GHI gene. So, what do you think?
I'm not sure. Jason, I've been doing this. Next year will be 10 years with the ball python game, hard and heavy for me, which is pretty exhausting, and I'll wear a guy out. But I can tell you this, I've seen a lot of combos that hatched out, like with the champagnes and stuff. I was the first one to do some of the, first champagne combinations, and it was amazing to see how that washed out, how the champagne really washed out, like with the pastel, for example. Back in 2008, I was the first one to do the pastel champagne, and when I hatched them out, they looked like blue-eyed Lucy's, because all champagnes I hatched out prior to that all had black eyes with a red pupil. And then I hatched out these, the pastel champagnes, and they came out perfectly white with blue eyes, and it just didn't make any sense. And I remember calling, several other breeders, and I remember Amir Saliani was telling me, like, those are blue-eyed Lucy's, man. And I was like, well, it came from a citrus pastel that he had sold me, and I was like, not unless your citrus pastel is for Lucy, I don't know how this could have worked, So it's amazing how the genes are kind of fooling us, and how they we're just washing some, snakes out by adding 5 or 6 genes in there. I mean, Kevin McCurley does some great work, and he has some really cool snakes. And I think he's got 6, 7, 8 genes in some of them, and they kind of all blend together. The snakes are starting to look like a purple or light-colored, worm in some cases. So I think it's kind of hard for us as breeders because we can't tell exactly what's all inside of the genetic makeup of the snake. So, that's kind of getting to be difficult. I'm sure you've seen that too, haven't you, Jason?
I see it in the videos. Unfortunately, not yet. I'm only 4 years into the game, but still, that's no excuse. But 10 years, man, that's definitely an achievement, man. That's definitely knowing you're doing it. You're doing it 10 years. You're not doing it for other reason, but the love of it.
Yeah, that's one thing, Jason, that, I've seen a lot of people in the ball python industry come and go in the last, almost 10 years. And I can tell you, people can say that people get into it just for the money or, it's all money driven, this, that, and the other. But I can honestly tell you, yes, the financial reward is a good thing, but people don't understand, like a guy like myself who has, hundreds of snakes, that you don't do it because, just all for the money. You got to love snakes. Like me, I've loved snakes my whole entire life. And I love reptiles, but I really love snakes. And I used to catch garter snakes back home here in Nebraska and bring them in when I was, 4 or 5 years old. I'd have them in buckets and bring them in, and my mom and my grandma would whoop my butt because I wasn't allowed to bring them in the house, but I still kept doing it all the time, every time I could catch one. And so you don't do this, with hundreds or even 80 snakes. You don't do that unless you really love snakes. And I've seen people, Jason, that have, got into ball pythons because they thought, oh, this is a great industry. This is a great, financial way to make money. But if they didn't love the snakes, they didn't enjoy having snakes, and so they petered out and, they kind of, left the business and went away. They don't have snakes anymore. So you really got to enjoy snakes to do it, especially at the level that a lot of people are doing it these days. There's a lot of people with a lot of snakes here in the United States. I'm sure you're aware, right, Jason?
Yes, sir. And you're aware of what they're trying to pick off a species one by one, it seems.
Yeah, that scares me. I'm huge. I'm a huge gun guy. In fact, I once had a gun business, and guns are almost my first passion. I mean, it's right there with snakes. And long story short, it's starting to scare me when I watch the news here at night. I see, what's going on with the gun rights and stuff like that, and what people are wanting to do, and the same thing with reptiles. It's crazy. I mean, every city has like different ordinances. Now, my city is fine I can have as many ball pythons as I want. I've been in contact with our local animal control and all that, and I can do that. But like if I wanted to have Burmese, they would not let me have that. Or reticulated pythons, they would not let me have that. And I've actually been in homes where I've seen them confiscate Burmese and retics from people. That's our local animal control. And that's kind of disheartening, especially if the animals are being properly taken care of and they're not hurting anybody. It's just somebody has them as a pet and they just, the neighbor didn't like it and that type of situation. It's really disheartening, isn't it, Jason?
Man, I tell you, it feels good to hear you talk about the stuff we're seeing coming at us at the gun control aspect. It's really amazing how they can just take something and twist it for their agenda to disarm the American public. It's bullcrap, and and we can debate this all night long, but I have small children, and they're going to be going to school. My oldest is 4. She's turned 4 today, and she's going to go to school in 2 years. And, everyone can say, oh, we need to take all these guns. And I'll tell you, this is a little fact that I don't know the media portrays this a lot, but if every person in the United States that had a gun or whatever, something I saw, that they said if everyone that owned a gun in America stood outside, that they'd be like, that conglomerate of people would be like the second largest militia in the United States or in the world. Like we'd be like the second largest military because there's that many gun owners in America. And so from a logistical standpoint, the military and law enforcement couldn't disarm that many people in the United States. You couldn't take those guns away. And being in law enforcement, I can tell you that the bad people are always going to get guns. They're going to find a way to get a gun.
and that's the God's honest truth. So, and it sucks, and it's the same thing with our reptiles. I don't think that anybody should be allowed to tell me what kind of a reptile that I can keep, in my house. Now, I don't keep venomous, but I can tell you this: I've seen some eyelash vipers and things of that nature that I think are just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely drop dead gorgeous. I personally wouldn't want to keep them because I feel that I would get bit, and I don't want to take that, risk in my life. But, how can you tell somebody what kind of animal they can and can't keep when they'll let anybody have any type of dog that they want to have? And it doesn't make sense to me, Jason. It really doesn't.
Well, I just want to plug a quick group. It's called oathkeepers.org and Gun Owners of America. So please check those guys out, support them, and get involved, because if you don't, they're just going to steamroll us. So we need your help.
That is true, Jason. That is true. So, all right, we'll go on with another question. What do you got for me, Jason?
All right, so we're shooting for a banana pied, huh? Is that what
we are shooting? Yep, that's one of next year's projects. This year in 2012, I kind of had a letdown of a year. Jason and I had a really great 2009. I had a really awesome 2010. I had a freaking smoking stellar 2011, which had a ton of clutches and cashed out a lot of cool stuff and first of new mutations, which was awesome. And then this year in 2012, my collection kind of took the year off. I don't know. That's something I don't think a lot of breeders talk about, is that let's say you breed your snake, and they can live for 30, 40 years. We all know that. But if you keep pushing hard on, older females and stuff, I think that they need to take, Jason, 2-3 years off sometimes. I think, in the wild, another bigger breeder told me, one time, like, hey, Brock, does a adult ball python in the wild, does she get bred every year? Chances are probably not, and so I think that, that, and we had a real hot, I live here in Nebraska, and we had a really warm winter climate, and I actually, try to do the seasonal breeding thing. I don't breed year round, and so the hot temperature with no snow, we only had snow twice, that really affected my breeding season this last year. And so I'm hoping that this year for 2013 that we can really pick it up, and I'm hoping that it can actually, get a lot of good breeding. I've got a lot of young males I'm trying to use, Jason, which I don't know how. Do you usually try to get younger males to go right away? Is that one of your things that you do as well?
I have tried younger males, like the first couple seasons. Like, I would notice that the older male would do the job. But I've had a young pewter male last season that was maybe 400 grams that got the job done. So, I've heard champagne's even smaller. So,
Oh, yeah.
It's all to the male. And I've got ones that won't, so.
It's hard. And I had, there's someone, this is, again, it's just a ball python theory from someone else, and I was talking to the guy yesterday about it, and anyway, his theory on getting young males to breed is he's popping them like 2-3 times a day when they're 200 to 300 grams or whatever. It's my understanding he's popping them 2 or 3 times a day. And Jason, what he's saying is that kind of stimulates the younger male for sperm production, and also to make them, actually start courting and breeding females. Have you ever heard of that theory before?
I've never heard of that. Well, let me ask you, if you don't pop a male before the season starts, does he say clogged up and, can't do his thing?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I pop them. Prior to this theory, I pop them, Jason, when, they start getting in the 400 gram range, 450, like my banana het pied male, he's, I'd say roughly 480, 490, and he has sperm plugs. I've popped him, he has sperm plugs. I guess that's kind of what I've always done, but, this philosophy I'm being told now is like, 200-300 grams are already starting to pop them, like 2-3 times every day. They're putting in that effort because they're saying that stimulates, the male to have sperm production and for the male to start, courting females. I've never done it, Jason, so this is a new one to me. And I know that if you go online and, when I first got into this, a long time ago, I would follow Ralph Davis, which I know he's been a guest on your show. I listened to his episode. Ralph Davis has a great thing on the internet. It's a Ralph Davis breeding recipe, and I actually refer a lot of people onto it. It's like a blog post, or it's on his website somewhere. And he talks about like how he, with the cycling of the animals and all that stuff. And that's actually where I learned, Jason, a lot of my first years, breeding efforts, and where I learned how to breed was actually off of his website. So, I'm giving a prop to Ralph, saying, hey, he's the one that kind of taught me that way. So. Oh yeah, man, for sure. YouTube videos taught me the way. Oh, Ralphie, we appreciate you. Yeah. When I got into this back in 2003, there really was no YouTube videos. So the YouTube video thing has kind of become a new craze, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't got on that craze yet. I'm not. I have like one test YouTube video. I haven't figured out how to. I mean, I know how to do it. I know the gist of it, but I just don't. I don't do it. I don't have. I don't put out YouTube videos, and I probably should, in all honesty, Jason. But I have Chris Starnick, one of my best friends in the world, who's a professional photographer, and I have him come over. And that guy, we have a little photo studio we set up here in my basement, and we take pictures. And, he does just phenomenal work with pictures. So, yeah. I'm going to have to – I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, your website is really outstanding, the picture quality and how it's all set up. It's, definitely top-notch. Thank you. Yeah, we put a lot of time and effort, and Ryan Sherman's a great guy. He's one that's he designed my website. He's also designed a lot of my friends' websites as well, and he does a great job when it comes to designing, reptile websites for people. And that he's a great guy to work with. So I have to really, pay him props because that guy made me one hell of a nice website. So made me very happy. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, so you're also shooting for the banana clowns. Am I correct? Yes, you are very correct. I'll talk a little bit about that project. That's one, Jason, for next year, I'm actually holding my banana clown male right now. I thought he'd come down here while we're talking. I'm getting a snake from work with me. The banana, yeah, that's what I normally do in my days when I'm working, on my days off. I'm down here working in the snake room. So I'm calling a buddy. It's nice to talk snakes or talk anything. But anyway, the banana clown project is one that is very dear to me because I'll tell you a quick story here. Back in 2008, when I got into the banana project, I had actually the first banana that I purchased, a good friend of mine, Ken Mason, he had showed up in Tinley Park with a banana clown female that he had acquired from Will Slough. And this is before I'd ever had met Will. And he brought it to Tinley Park, and he had it, and he was looking to sell it. And so anyway, long story short, me and him were able to work out a deal, and I got the animal, and that was my very first banana. But unfortunately, Jason, I had to sell it the same year because I couldn't afford to keep it because I had also gotten offered a banana male from Will Slough. And so because of the male coming available and that, I actually had to bail on the banana clown. So I was really sad when I had to sell her because, I mean, let me tell you, bro, I brought her home, and that snake, I mean, you talk about pride of your collection. And this is, 2008. And I'll be honest with you, up until, this point when I hatched out this other one here, I mean, I've hatched out a lot of cool snakes, a lot of hot snakes that, I consider really nice looking. But I'm telling you, Jason, there's just something about the banana clown, which I don't know, have you ever seen one in person or anything like that? Have you ever seen one like at a show? Or you just no, yeah, just on the internet. I've only seen. I've not seen it in person. Okay. All right. Yeah, they are. Let me tell you, bro. They are freaking just the orange and the purple on the back and the yellow. They're beautiful, bud. They're absolutely beautiful. And I mean, everyone loves clown combos right now. Clown combos are hot. I was actually just going to put up a picture tonight. I sent out, I have a killer bee clown male, which I don't know if you saw that or if you knew I had that. I acquired that animal from a breeder over in Germany last year. He hatched out. He was the first one to hatch out a killer bee clown. And so I said to myself, I had to have it. So I bought that male from him. And then he did not breed for me this last season. So he's breeding now. And I actually sent him over to a friend who is very, 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 very deep in the clown projects. Because I want to work, and I'll talk about the pastel lesser clown project that I'm working here as well, but in the banana clown. But I sent my killer bee clown to my friend, and he sent me a picture of it locked up with a big pastel clown female today with follicles. Showed me my male, and I was like, ooh, that's hot, you know. That's something that makes me happy. It's a great looking snake, you know. So it's a cool thing. Have you seen the killer bee clowns by chance? Do you know what I'm talking about? Or
yeah, I have actually. It's I saw it on your website there. Also, the bumblebee clown is outstanding. Even the spider clown is pretty cool looking. Anything clown, really.
Anything clown. I mean, the clown stuff is super hot. The market really is. It's really, you know, responding to the clown stuff. I mean, right now, Jason, having clown females is almost like impossible because, I mean, people, they all want to buy them. I can't tell you how many people I had to turn down this year. Like, hey, can we buy a clown female, buy a clown female, buy a clown female? I don't know. I'm like, no. I wanted to shelve the females for myself and grow them up. And yeah, people really, really want clown girls. One thing that I've found, Jason, and I don't know if you know, some people probably already know this. I found, we all know that we can agree on this, that pied females kind of grow slow. Have you heard that before? They kind of go slower. Do you know?
Yeah, I've heard it takes them maybe their third season, maybe.
You know, I've had terrible luck, and it could be just me, but I've had some bad luck with pieds where it's taken, you know, it takes me forever to get a pied female up to size, but and not all do that, Jason. So I'm not saying every pied's like that. I'm just saying from my personal experience, I've had real crappy luck getting pied females to eat and get them up to size right away. It takes them a long time, but anyway, I've noticed that with clown females as well, that they are kind of, you know, not saying picky feeders. It just seems that they can be picky sometimes, and sometimes it takes the majority of my clown girls. It takes them a while to get up to actual breeding size to get them up to go. So I don't know. Have you ever heard that before, Jason, or no?
Well, I don't know about your experience with hets, but I have two posset pied females that they're going on their third year. I'm like, are you going to go this year or what? Like, so I don't know if it passes down to the het form or what.
You know, interesting. That's funny you should say that. This is the banana het clown female that I produced the banana clown male from this year. That was the first het clown female I bred ever, because up to that point, Jason, I'd only been working with visual clown females. So this is the first year, and I added a bunch of pastel het clowns, pastel clown females, and such, and super pastel het clowns and that kind of thing. This year, I've added a lot of that to my arsenal here, because I'm really going heavy on clowns. I love that stuff. And this will be my first time breeding a lot of het clown stuff. So I don't know if they're picky eaters too, but they probably, your possets probably are, they probably are het, because if they're being picky for you, they might be carrying the clown gene. Just, could be a good sign for you, right, Jason?
Well, the pied, het pied, posset.
Oh, het pied, sorry. Yeah,
I have
sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, I have a really reduced clown female that, she's a outstanding part of our collection. One of our favorites, definitely. Can't wait to put something to her just to get hets, better het clown.
Right. Yeah. So no, I'm gonna work with the killer bee clown into some projects this year to make some more killer bee clowns, and I don't know what me and him have all planned. I know we talked about some of it, and we haven't got all of it all ironed out. But I have over here my pastel lesser clown male that this is the first pastel lesser clown that I produced ever. I think Mark Bailey beat me to it. I think he produced one last year, so he actually produced the pastel version before I did. But I was the first one to do lesser clowns, and I believe I did lesser clowns back in 2008 or 2009. That was the first time I hatched them out. I think and I know I was the first one to ever have done it. And those things are freaking bad to the bone, and people have always asked me, like, hey, what made you think about putting the lesser to the clown? I was like, well, the pastel version turned out so freaking sweet. I figured that since everyone loves lessers and butters, because I'd gotten into lessers and butters back in 2004 and 2005, and that was a morph that everyone seemed to love, and they're just absolutely beautiful. So it's one of those morphs that you just can't love. But the color that the butter and the lesser add to any combination has been pretty damn hot. So I don't know what year did you start into ball pythons, Jason? What year was it that you got into it?
2008, and we started with babies, so we've been slow growing, adding, definitely holding back what we can, female-wise, and anything cool male-wise. But really, this year was the first year we hatched out anything, that we thought was pretty neat. So.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yes. Butters and lessers back in like 2005, like around that time frame, they were still pretty rare. And back in 2004, they were ultra rare. And I think in 2005, history's going to date me here. I think that in 2004 they were going. Man, if you bought one, it was like $35,000 to $50,000 a piece. And then in 2005, they started out like at $25,000 and went down to like $15,000. So they were worth a lot of money back then. So.
And then when we got in, we paid $500 for our male in 2008 or 9. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No. They went. The natural progression of things, but that was a morph that I knew when I held my first lesser. I was like, oh yeah, everybody in the industry is gonna want this snake. Look what it could do. Just look at all the potential, the mad potential that it has as far as combo power. So I knew that was going to be something hot. So anyway, I'll try to get back on track here for you. So yeah, I got a pastel lesser clown male, and I'm going to be plugging him into like pastel clowns this year. The banana head clown female is going to probably be bred to him. Trying to look around the room here and see what else I'm going to do with him. Probably go with him to make some cool pets of some sort. I'm not sure quite yet. I have an adult female, lesser clown female she's probably every bit of almost 3,000 grams here. And she's the best looking one that I've ever produced. And she was one of my original ones. And I'm probably going to hold on and breed her to, I have a banana head clown male, the male maker, and I'm going to breed him probably to her. So that's good. I've been trying to go back and forth in my head of, what am I going to breed to her? So probably going to do that, see if I can make something cool there, make the first banana lesser clown. That'd become nice, right?
Yes, sir. Well, let's talk about that male maker. So having a 98% edge, when you're trying to hit a certain sex, that's definitely going to help out if you're trying to be male heavy on certain female heavy on something else. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Understand that?
You understand it. I'll run through the genetics because it's a question, Jason, that I get asked probably once every 2 weeks, easily. And that's why I had to put on my Facebook page or my blog. I put up there, I had to put a refresher because I get tired of emailing it to people. It's like, this is how it works. It was crazy. I've heard, Jason, rumors abounded back in the day, back in 2010, all that, like, that I was freezing male bananas back then, and that, I was trying to keep the price high, and I was artificially inflating the price and all that stuff, which none of it was any truth. It was all lunacy, as most things are in the ball python industry. But anyhow, I started hatching out banana females bananas back in 2010. I'd only had one clutch in 2009, and that was from a Coral Glow Woman Pastel female that I had picked up from Tracy Barker. And female bananas will throw you a normal ratio. So, it's just like having a female spider, like having a female pastel. People just got to understand that, owning a female banana, that's going to throw you just a normal ratio. You can get lucky, like, Ozzy Bullard did last year when he got 3 banana males. He got 3.1 bananas in his first clutch. I mean, the guy got really lucky on his first clutch. And you could also strike out and get 3 girls and 1 male. So, I mean, banana females, they work like any other, morph female. They're like a pastel, spider, pinstripe, all that. So, anyway, I had my original male that I bought from Will Slough, and Will had told me how he had made it, and I forgot how he had made my male, but ultimately it came from a banana female is where, my male came from. And I started hatching out bananas, and I was, Jason, like 33, 35 bananas deep in 2010 that I, had produced that many, and all of them were female. And this just didn't make any sense. I was calling my friends. I was like, this doesn't make any freaking sense. Why am I hatching out this many females? Blah, blah, blah. Will had told me there was something up with the gene. Everyone, like, people didn't believe me. Everyone has to see it with their own eyes to see, exactly how it all works. So it was like 34, 35 bananas into it is when I finally hatched out my first male. And, at the time, I don't think Kevin McCurley had sold any at that point. Or, I said, well, that's when I went to the $60,000 price tag on it, because I was like, okay. And everyone wanted the banana, Jason, back then. I mean, my phone was getting blown up. My email was getting blown up. I had people coming at me from every different direction on the planet. It was really retarded. And it's nice, but it's also bad when you're trying to do other things in life when you got that many people coming at you, from in all different types of angles. So I knew that they were highly, highly sought after. So I was like, hey, we're going to take these $60,000 if, this is what people want. And Brad Boa bought the first male that I had for sale there. So, and I didn't know that at the time that was going to be a male maker. So, I actually, told him, look, you're going to produce a ton of females like I had done. And so, anyway, I figured out how many bananas I produced, that year, and how many males I produced, which I didn't produce very many. It was like 4 of them that year. And long story short, it was like a 98%, hatch rate that they were all females. I just, a ton of females. And anyhow, people obviously wanted them. And then 2011 comes around, and Chun Koo had bought a male banana from Kevin McCurley. As I said, another guy named Keo. Rick Cunningham had bought his from me, and such. And long story short, these guys started producing, and I had held on to a spider banana male that I had produced in 2010. That was my holdback, and I started when I first cut the first clutch from him. I was like, holy shit, there's 3 or 4 male bananas in this clutch. How did this just happen? It's weird. And then obviously it started coming out. People started talking. There's communication amongst people. It sounded to me like Kevin Curley had already known what was going on. That they were male makers. There were these banana genetics flip itself around. So once you get a male from a male that came from a female maker, that the genetic gene actually it switches itself around, and then it starts making all males. And I can, after hatching them out for 2 years from male makers, and obviously you can now tell, when you go on the classifieds and by the amount of the sheer, number of male bananas that's available out there now, you can tell that, that this is genetically what is going on. And it was quite the flip. What do you think, Jason? I mean, and I know probably, since you probably never hatched out. Have you hatched out a banana before, Jason, or yes, no, or in between, or have you not?
No, I have not had a banana in my possession yet. So I think I'm a few years off from that project. I think I'm finally getting to the Phantom Potion range there. So.
Okay, no, yeah, it's. But I mean, when you hear a guy like me tell you the story genetically about how it works out, I mean, it's easy for you to say, how the hell is this working out? It sounds so outlandish and so crazy, does it not?
Well, I mean, if you have the breeding records to prove it, I mean, that's
that.
Yeah. I mean, if you have everyone else backing, saying the same thing, then it seems to be what's going on. But
yeah,
it
is.
Seems weird. That is very strange on how that could happen. But everything doesn't have to be explained. I mean, some things, are not going to be.
Yeah. It's someone. I can't think it was Sean Heffleck. He's a very smart individual. He's got genetic background, all that stuff, and I think he's got a doctorate, and I'm not sure. I know he's a very educated guy. He was explaining to me how he feels that the banana gene is riding like on a locust or something inside the gene. He had this awesome way of explaining it to me that's way over my head. I'm not smart enough to understand it.
We got him in January, so I'll have to ask him about that.
Ask him. Yeah, ask him. Ask him to explain to you his theory on the banana genetics, because I'm going to tell you, it is absolutely fascinating, and I think he's onto something. And the way he describes it, because, people are saying, well, broccoli can't be a true sex-linked gene if it, does produce, other ratios, such as, I am able to get, a female from a male maker. And, that happens about, 90, it's like a 97% rate or patch rate or something like that. Anyway, long story short, so you are able to do it, and they're saying, well, then it's not a true sex-linked gene, which, hey, I'm not claiming to be a genetic expert or anything like that, but it's like something, he'll explain it to you how the gene of the banana rides on a locust or something in the frickin', genetic makeup of the snake, and that's why, that's like the banana gene itself. It's something weird, but anyway, when he described it to me, I go, you're the first person to describe it to me where it actually made sense. So, yeah, hopefully he'll be able to give you his explanation for it in January, and he'll enlighten your listeners on his theory, which I think he might be onto something. So, yeah, and it blew me away that the banana genetics worked out the way they did. And in all honesty, Jason, I'll be straight with you. I wish that they wouldn't have worked out this way, because, now it's so easy to make banana males and crank them out in high numbers. It's kind of, it's kind of scary and kind of sad, as, from a marketing standpoint. So, I mean,
it opens the
you understand what I mean? Yeah. I mean, this wasn't what I obviously wanted to happen to it. It was, especially when I sold the animals I sold to people, I was like, hey, this is a, investment animal. And I wanted the people that I sold bananas to for big money to really, be able to prosper and do well, which they all have, from the ones that produce. I can tell they've all done well. But when you have the ability to crank out, males at the level that I'm seeing being cranked out by people, then it really alters, the marketing and the makeup of that. When people have so many, it's not, it becomes less rare, obviously. It's not highly coveted and stuff. So it's kind of sad. It honestly makes me sad when it's, kind of seen out there in the market. It is what it is. It happens,
So when do the spots come in? Is it like any variation of any animal, or,
That's a good question. Let me let me grab one here out of the baby rack. Okay, I'm holding the regular banana male here, okay, and he's probably about 170 grams, and he's already got lots of black spots all over him. So I've seen it when they just hatched out, as babies, within the first 2-3 weeks. I've seen like one black dot start appearing. It's kind of somewhat variable, Once the animal is definitely 600 grams, 600 grams, we've seen a lot of the black dots are already starting to appear on them. The only mutation that I saw, I'm holding one right here in my hand, the lesser banana, Jason, seems to not have as many black dots. It doesn't seem to get the black flecking as much as the other banana mutations do. So when you look at here, I'm going to pull up, I have a big 2,500 or 3,000 grams banana Mojave here. Let me look and see if she Yeah, because she also doesn't have a lot of black dots. Yeah, she's in shed, unfortunately. Still beautiful looking animal. Okay, she's got Jason. She's about 3,000 grams, bud, and she's when I can look her over here. I'm only seeing about 6 black spots on her, so that's it. Where as opposed to, let me grab another banana here. This is a banana head ghost female, and she is smaller. She's only about 1,900 grams. And Jason, she's covered in 20% of her body's got 15% of her body's got black dots on. So is that kind of help you out a little bit on the black dot thing?
Yeah, kind of. That banana Mojave is definitely one of my favorite banana combos out of all of them, man. It's just, I love the coloring on those.
Sick. Yeah, they're sick looking. But they're beautiful. Don't get me wrong. They're absolutely beautiful. You're going to laugh, Jason, but one of my favorites, obviously I love the banana clown, and I'm really looking forward to the banana pie, but my spot-nosed banana. Don't ask me why, Jason. So you're looking at her right now. And you hold her. Here she is just, the color, the orange color of the banana gene is just so intense on the spot nose. And this female here, I have to plop her on scale. She's probably about 1,600 grams. And, I mean, when you hold her in person, it's a real, I'm trying to describe it to you here, it's like got on the back of her back, it's real dark oranges. And then, her body coloring is obviously darker orange with lighter color. There's just something about, like, the spot nose gene just really amplified the banana gene and made it pop out just a little bit more. So, it's kind of crazy.
That was definitely on my list, and I wonder what the banana Powerball will look like.
Yeah, man. I'm not going to be able to do that because I don't have a banana spot nose male yet. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be done this year. That's the Powerball. The Powerball banana is going to be freaking sick looking, man. It's going to be awesome. That's definitely one on my to-do list for sure. Is that? I mean, that's a sick looking animal. I think it's going to be awesome, and I'm looking forward to that one. I think we'll probably see that this year. One that I wanted to do that Chun Koo beat me to was he did a mahogany banana. Have you seen a picture of that one yet, by chance?
No, I haven't actually.
Okay, he did a mahogany banana, and I saw that animal down in Daytona, and it's like a black pastel banana, but it has what it did. It had it lightened up the banana. The whole color just turned it it was really, 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 really light colored. It was, it turned it into a sick looking snake, man. That was one that was like, I was like, I'd never had the mahogany gene up to that point, Jason, because being, a smaller guy like myself, I only have 300 animals. That wasn't something I was focusing on. And, after seeing the combination, I was like, okay, I got to get into the mahogany gene now because this is pretty sick looking with what it does to bananas. So yeah, it's really nice, really cool.
How about the GHI banana? You gonna go that route?
I'll be straight with you, Jason. I was very disappointed. I've talked it over to a lot of my friends and stuff, and everyone seems to have kind of the general consensus of the same thing. Like we were really disappointed with how the GHI and the banana gene interacted with one another. I haven't seen a picture of one at 300-400 grams. I don't know how big Dave's are. Their blood balls. I think I saw an updated picture here in the last month of a baby, one of his baby ones. Maybe it was 100-some grams. I'll be honest, I wasn't really that impressed. Did you think it was a very visually appealing new, morph combo? Did you like it?
I didn't even know it was done. I would just assume that it would just have the GHI pattern with coloring. It was like the GHI patterning, and then the animal appeared to be kind of a lighter tinge, a lighter color, and that's what I could tell from the pictures. Now, obviously, I've never held the animal in person, so I probably will. I have one banana GHI combo thing that I want to do myself this year. But yeah, I was kind of, between you and me, I was kind of disappointed in the GHI banana. I didn't really like that combo. That was one that I was like, it just didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Well, I'll tell you what, just the simple pastel to the banana, that's amazing what that does.
Oh, it is. It is.
Wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, no, me neither. And they're variable. Some of them, Jason, have high white up their sides and stuff, and they look like they're calicos. They have the calico or spiders type, white up the sides of the banana, and on the pastels, and they look freaking hot. They do. They look really hot. And some of them, as they get older, Jason, they really, hold on to their color and hold on to some of that varying degrees of the white up their sides. So, yeah, that's a hot one. I don't have any calico bananas yet. That's something I'm going to breed this year, and I'll have them, this next season. I've seen some updated pictures of Chunku's animals, and they look pretty nice. And we posted one on the website or on the internet or something. It was nice looking. Like an adult banana calico with that white at the side looks just beautiful. It really does.
Well, that banana Woma definitely has some contrast. Is it holding true into adulthood?
It is. I only produced 2, and that was back in 2010. And I'd sold one, and it got sold to Josh Markey, and then Dave Green now has possession of the animal. He produced from it this year. Mine, the sister, I kept it here. It did not get bred this year, so she'll breed this year. She's about 3,000 grams. And yes, the banana Woma is awesome. The banana Woma that's one I was like, wow. And it's not the hidden gene one. It's just the normal. I think you would call the type 1 Woma is what they call them. I'm not even sure, Jason. I think that's what they call them. But anyway, it's just a normal Woma with the banana gene into it, and it's beautiful. It is beautiful. And this year I have a hidden gene Woma male that I'm plugging into the banana gene, so that way I can start making my own hidden gene bananas as well. So I don't know. Do you know, Jason, did Kevin McCurley show, or did he produce a soul sucker banana? Has he done that yet?
I don't know. He probably has. I mean, there's
he probably has. Yeah, he probably has. He probably has it in a vault somewhere, and only his eyes have seen it. I'm sure. Yeah, it's
him and Rossi.
Yeah, it'll be. And one day we'll be watching a YouTube video, and it'll be on there. That's what's gonna happen with that, right? So
yes, sir.
Yeah.
But that banana pin also is pretty intense. There, that animal, high orange, I'd say.
Yes, very, very high orange. That's a beautiful, beautiful snake. I tell you, as babies, banana pins are just freaking phenomenal. The purple with all the black flecking turns into purple on the banana pin, and that just those purple lines on it just sick looking, just awesome. Very, very awesome. It's a great looking mutation. Really is. I like it a lot. So, and then you can start, like I have over here, I have a Fire Killer Blast banana female. She's probably about 1,600 grams that I hatched out last year. And Chris has taken some pictures of it, but it was kind of going back to the lines where we're talking about where you have so many mutations in a snake that it kind of washes it all out. It's like the best way for me to describe it, Jason, is it's got the faint, spinner blast type patterning on the back of it. It's very, very faint. It's all orange with very few black dots. And then it's got the light tinge with the fire gene added to it. So it's kind of sick looking. It's different, but it's got so much going on. When you look at the snake, I've actually pulled it out for people and said, okay, tell me what this is. And I've, hid the tub so they can, tell me what's all in it. They're just like, oh, we know it's a banana and it's maybe got pastel in it. It's pretty funny watching what people trying to, figure out what was all inside of it.
I love guessing what combos are.
Oh, me too, bud, me too. And I was reading on Bush League today, someone was talking about how people kind of like, they always upgrade their snakes. Like, for instance, someone will hatch out, they'll breed a orange dream, yellow belly banana to a pastel ivory, and they'll say that every, banana hatches out, it's got the orange dream in it. I say, how do you know? You don't know. You have to breed it out, I think, in some of those, some of those things. Sorry, go ahead.
It'd have to be a super orange dream, wouldn't it? For everything has orange dream in it?
No, the orange dream is like a codon. It's a codon mutation. So It wouldn't have to have the super form. I'm just saying that it's kind of from what I can tell, it looks like it's a subtle appearance. It's subtle gene when you combine it with a banana. It looks to me like it's kind of subtle. So when you hatch out babies, it looks like it'd be hard. They'd have to get a couple 100 grams for you to definitively tell if they got the orange stream in them or not. That's what I can tell from pictures and stuff. Now I'm going to make my own one this year, so we'll see. If I do it myself, if it's different. But I'm just saying, I think when we're working with so many different mutations in one animal, I think it's easier for breeders out there to say, oh, well, yeah, this was the best possible outcome. I'll have 6 genes, so the snake has all got, it's just kind of a blob of all one color, and they're like, oh, it's got all those genes in it, which obviously, Jason, not every one of those snakes is going to have all 6 genes. It might only be a 4-gene snake, So you really just kind of got to say, hey, it could be all these, or it might not, That's how, at least I think we represent the animal. That's how you kind of got to be about it. That's just my personal opinion, So don't want to deceive people that way. So you understand, right?
For sure. So let's talk about one gene, the candy gene. So how do you tell a candy apart from an albino? I mean, is there certain key characteristics or different markers you look for? Jason, the candy gene, first of all, candy and toffee are the same mutation. I bought toffee back in 2010. It was when I bought my first toffee, animal, visual. And then I got, later that year, early 2011, I bought a pastel or super pastel candy female, which was the Pete Call bloodline. And anyway, now I have a pastel candy male that came, direct from Pete Call. And I really like that animal. They look completely different than albinos. When they're born, they look like an albino. I would more liken them to a lavender albino when they first hatch out. You can kind of tell the difference because the visual baby candy will have a little bit darker hues, where the lavender will be more brighter from what I could have seen in the babies in my limited experience. But the candy gene, they just seem to have a different color, darker color hue to the back, the orange colors. And obviously, as they mature, they look nothing like a regular albino, and they actually look a lot more like lavenders. But I was just breeding yesterday my pastel candy male with my pastel or super pastel candy. That's another one we don't know if it's the super pastel candy female or she's just a pastel candy female. But anyway, I was breeding that pair together just yesterday. And, the female, she's probably about 1,400 grams, and the male's probably about 900 grams. And, Jason, they're, as adults, with ball pythons, you don't see a lot of ball pythons that hold their baby color or get, as they mature, they don't look as stunning as babies. Babies look, super awesome. But I'll tell you, these candies, as they get older, they really are visually very striking and very beautiful. So it's really nice to see, 1,500 gram snake that's really got some awesome color to it. So I like them a lot. And then I'm sure you're familiar with how you can cross now the candy gene with the albino and get the candinos. You understand all that, correct? Yeah, man. I was going to ask you if the hets are lighter than the het albinos because, of course, you get the het albino from 2008 and you breed her to my albino male, and these two albinos pop out, but they look like lavenders to me. I was like, wow, these are really purple, and I was like, what's going on here? Is she a het toffee? Oh, wow, yeah, she's a het candy. You're hoping for that, but I'm just, they're about almost 200 grams. So how big do they have to get when you can start seeing that difference?
Oh, and the candy babies, in the visual candy babies, you start seeing 200-300 grams, Jason. You see a definitive color change, and by 400 grams, you definitely know you're not working with an albino, and you can tell you're not working with a lavender albino anymore. You got a darker orange that looks more banana-ish color. It's more banana-ish. it's been likened in term that the orange on the candy, looks a lot more like a banana. So a lot more orange. Beautiful, very beautiful. So, yeah. And then, it was kind of my personal opinion, it was kind of a bummer that when it was proven that you could breed a candy to an albino and make the Candino gene, the half-crossed animals, which I'll be honest with you, Jason, I don't fully understand all the genetics, behind all that. I made, several Candinos this year and stuff, and they, it's weird. I've seen pictures, like Corey Woods has got a very beautiful Tofino. I've seen pictures on Bush League of his animal. And his animal, if you put it in my hands, I'd tell you, hey, this is a toffee or this is a candy. It looks just like that. But with my baby Candinos and stuff, they look like, they didn't look like lavenders. They looked more, they looked more like lavenderish. And then they obviously, they looked like albinos as well. It was just kind of goofy. And I'm not claiming to be a genetic expert, so I'm not, surely I don't fully understand how that all works, what it is. But I'm anxious to see, there was quite a few Candinos that were produced here in 2012. In 2015, Jason, I look forward to seeing people posting pictures of their adult Candinos and seeing, what they look like. If they, when we compare them to actual, full-blooded, toffees and candies, I wonder if they're going to look just like them or if they're going to be a little different looking. I'm sure you've seen the same pictures I've seen. Is that correct?
I've probably seen a little less than you, but I've seen some.
You've seen some? Okay, yeah. And, the Candinos, have you seen an adult picture of a Candino on Bush League or something? Have you seen Corey Woods's by chance?
I haven't. No, I haven't been on Bush League in a while, man. That definitely is my favorite forum to frequent, but I've been busy as of late, and I haven't been on there, so I need to get back on there.
I understand. Yeah, life is busy. I totally understand. Yeah, he's got, like I said, just a beautiful example of a Candino, or Tofino, and so doesn't that Peter Williams. I think he had the original one. And I'll tell you, if you put it in my hands, I would have a hard time differentiating and saying it was different from the toffee or candy. I would have a hard time, but but that's just me, and I haven't hatched out a lot of visuals, visual candies and stuff. Where maybe Peter Call is an expert in these. He'd probably be able to tell you right away if there's a difference or something like that. He probably would be able to do it. So he's working that project pretty heavy. I'm anxious to see what he's going to hatch out in the next coming years with the candy gene. I'm sure he's going to have some awesome crosses. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about it. Yeah, Corey Woods, he was on the show. He was talking about Peter Williams. He had got the project from him. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, Jason, to keep track of everything, and I, as I've gotten older, and like I said, I've almost been doing this for 10 years. I when I was younger and I was really working my banana or my ball python collection really hard, it was easier for me to keep track of, every different mutation that had been produced, all the different names, and now, Jason, when I produce a new morph that has never been done anymore, I'm just going to call it what it is unless it's something really spectacular that I can think of a cool name. Like my wife actually came up with the name for the mimosa because we were the first ones to hatch out mimosas. And Gretchen, my wife, she actually came up with that. She was like, that's a champagne and orange ghost. She goes, let's just call it a mimosa. And it was a great name. It was a great, cool name to call it. But maybe my creativity level is not there anymore, that I just can't think of, new, spiffy names. And there's so many different mutations out there now, Jason, and so many different morphs. Like, I had people email me or call me up and say, Brock, do you have a opal diamond this or some, do you have the sphincter specter ball this? I swear to God, I'm just like, I'm just like, I'm sorry, can you come again, say again? And they're just like, you have the sphincter specter, triple onyx ball. I'm like, I don't even know what that is, dude. I get emails all the time about that. It's like, hey, do you have this, or do you want this, or do you know what? I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Like, what is that? What are you talking about? Because I don't know. I honestly, my head's full. I can't keep track of all the different, the different names that people are attaching to all the different
all the different morphs out there. So I just like to now refer to them as what they are. You know, if a snake's got 5 genes, it's like, okay, so it's a super pastel, Mojave, pinstripe spider, you know, with the inchy in it or something. I don't know. You know, just tell me what it is. That's how I have to do it now. Maybe I'm getting too old, Jason, but I can't keep track of all the different fancy names that everyone's trying to attach to all the different morphs. It gets very confusing, doesn't it, Jason?
It does, but you know what? Everybody's going to know that mimosa, so thank Gretchen there. Kudos. Well done.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of my favorite champagne combos right there, along with the champagne enchi. It's amazing to see some pattern thrown on there. Kind of wonder what the GHI champagne will look like.
You know, that's been done. Now you mention it. Matt Laird did that this year. Yeah, he did. I saw a picture of it.
I had him on the show.
Yeah. It's okay, bud. It's okay. Yeah,
I missed my opportunity.
Yeah, you missed your opportunity to talk to him about it. I saw a picture of it. I can't remember what it looked like. It looked cool, though. I remember that. I think the GHI champagne looked cool. If I remember right, it looked kind of neat. So, and obviously getting the inchy, you know, I have the inchy champagnes and stuff over here, and they're pretty bad to the bone when you get that patterning all down the back of them, and with the orange and all that, looks beautiful. And I'm looking forward to seeing a mimosa inchy. I don't think we've seen that yet, so I think that's going to be a pretty sick-looking snake. And I'm really looking forward to the banana champagnes this year that were hatched, seeing them at 600-700 grams. I think they're going to be pretty cool looking. I really do. That's my personal opinion. I think they're going to really glow. I think the orange is really going to glow on them.
But, man, I was looking at your website last night, and you have the Super Phantom Yellow Belly. That's, like, one of my favorite snakes. It's definitely a cool snake to have, I'm sure.
Yeah, you were telling me you're big into the Phantom stuff, and that I'm assuming you're working with the Phantom gene. Is that right?
No, I have some Mojave females. I'm going to get into the Phantom project that I'm thinking about. Phantom Mojave there.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking about.
The Mystic Potion or the Phantom Potion.
Yeah, the Phantom Potion, yeah.
Yeah, those things are sick looking. I had acquired my first Super Phantom, which was Ralph Davis Bloodline. I think I got that animal 2009, 2010. That was my first one. And I bred it to Mojaves and, you know, made Phantom Potions with it. And those are just sick looking, man. The purple and the white stripes down the side of the snake with the nice soft colored purples on the back. I mean, they really are cool looking. They really are. And then the fact that then I bought a Super Phantom Yellow Belly, and then I think Ralph calls them his Goblin line. That's what he calls his Yellow Bellies. Again, everyone's got a different name for everything these days. But anyway, good looking, cool looking snake. And this year, I'm just trying to get going. I have a Super Phantom Spider Male. Have you seen the picture of that animal by chance, Chase?
Yeah, he was definitely next here. He is so clean, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, he's super sick. I sit there and look at that snake, and Jason, I wonder to myself, like, okay, that snake's got spider in it, but it just does not look like the spider patterning at all. It's so confusing, so different looking, but yet it's such a beautiful, soft color of a taupe or whatever you want to call it for the actual color of the snake. And today I actually had him in with the Banana Woma, so I'm trying to get that all going. So yeah, that I'm looking forward to him breeding this year and making some of the Phantom Potion spiders, because I think Chun made some of those this year. I saw them and they look, just similar as the Super Phantom spider. They look really nice looking. So yeah, you'll have fun with that project. That one's so cool. I can't wait to hatch out my first Phantom Potion, spiders as babies. I can't wait to do that next year. I think that's going to be really cool looking. As a baby, it's going to be something I get excited about. So, and then I've got to sit around and figure out like what other projects I'm going to plug into the Super Phantom Spider Male. Like what other mutations I'd like to bring, into it. Like obviously, one add the pastel gene to it, possibly the ghost we have not seen a Phantom Potion or a Mystic Potion ghost animal yet, have we, Jason? I don't know. Have we? Has that been produced yet?
I haven't seen that yet, but I can tell you that as soon as you put that glaze over any animal, it's just instantly better.
I agree with you 150%. I'm a huge proponent of the ghost gene, and one of my best friends in the world, Josh Markey, he's huge in the ghost gene animals, and me and him over the years, we had our own little war going on between me and him, like who could have the coolest ghost combos that they could produce, which I think he clearly kicked my butt. Like, they give him kudos and props to that. He produced a lot of nice ghost animals. And the ghost mutation is one of those really underrated mutations, because you just add the ghost to anything and it just looks beautiful. And I kind of wanted to touch on with you and your listeners about the ghost mutation and the banana mutation. Something that I've noticed, I don't know if other people breeding bananas have noticed this yet as well. I'm not fully sure, Jason, that I have produced a hypo banana to this point. I thought, and this is what happened back in 2010 when I bred my original Will Slaw banana male, and then I also had a Spinner Blast. I had a Spinner Blast Coral Glow male that had hatched out from my 2009 breeding of that Woma Pastel, Coral Glow that I got from Tracy. I got a male out of that, and I kept him. Well, long story short, when I hooked these animals up to some of my ghost mutations, which I have here, I was getting visual ghosts in the clutch, and no visual ghost animals or het ghost animals had touched those females. It had just been the banana males. And I've done that now 3 years in a row, where I bred banana to ghost, visual ghost, and I've produced visual ghosts. Like, for instance, this year, I bred a lone banana male, not het for ghost, to a ghost female this year. I got 6 eggs. Of the 6 eggs, 2 went bad, so I had 4 eggs that hatched. All 4 of those hatched out were all hypo. What do you make of that, Jason?
He's carrying that hypo gene.
Yeah, but the male that I produced, it wasn't from a hypo. He didn't. He'd come from like a pastel. He didn't come from a hypo. So yeah, this year will be my first year of the breeding of an actual, het ghost banana male back to a hypo animal. And I'm anxious to see if maybe we haven't seen the hypo gene in the banana yet, like combined. Maybe we haven't seen that. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. And I can't tell you, I did that 2 times this year where I bred banana male, not het for ghost, no way het for ghost, bred it to a visual hypo and produced hypos out of the clutch. Nuts, huh?
Did you also produce bananas?
No, not well. Yes, I take the one clutch was all 4 were hypos. There was another clutch, 6 eggs. There was 4 hypos. There was a banana that didn't appear to be, it didn't appear to be anything special or different than other bananas I'd produced. And there was another animal in the clutch that was a normal. It wasn't a hypo animal as well. So yeah, that's what I saw this year, just off the top of my head. I'm probably sorry. Go ahead.
Retained sperm from last season?
Always a possibility, but I don't believe I bred anything hypo to him last year. I don't believe I did, because I wasn't really working with a lot of hypo males the last couple of years. The only hypo males that I've been using were champagne het hypos and mimosa males. So I never had anything like Spinner Blast hypos or, black pastel ghost, any of that kind of stuff as far as males. So, I mean, retained sperm is always a possibility, but I don't really believe that that's what's going on. I think that the more I, try to dive into this, I think that the banana gene being as whacked out and different than it is. I really feel like if I was to give you a banana and you were to breed it to some hypos over your collection, or how about this? If I was to give you a banana, you breed it to a pastel, let's just say, right? And let's say you get a male maker, so you instantly get some pastel males. Now, if you were to breed those pastel males to some hypos over your collection, I would almost say, I could almost say with 100% certainty that you'll produce visual hypos in the clutch when you breed that, that male that you produce from your pastel that you'll have. It's weird. I don't understand what's going on.
It turns
kind of an
on
interesting.
the
I'm sorry, what?
So it turns on the heterozygous switch on that animal?
Yeah, or something. And then, like I said, I don't claim to be a genetic expert, so that's one thing, Jason, that kills me about the internet. This is one of my gripes. Everyone's got gripes, but this is one of my gripes about the internet. People can argue till they turn blue in the face about, hey, this could not be happening, or this is, be happening, or, in banana mutation, it's probably why I feel this way so strongly, because, my name gets attached to it all, and I have to read all the garbage on there. But until you've done it, you have the breeding trials, and you've done it yourself, experience speaks more than anybody's intelligence, more than anybody, just ranting on the internet saying, hey, this is the only way that happened. I'm telling you guys, when you do it, when you physically do it, and you have your own results in front of you, it doesn't matter. That's one thing the banana mutation has taught me, is that science and logic, you just throw them right out the window. It's like, this is what you see. This is really what's going on. And it's different. Like with this, obviously with it being the sex linked or whatever mutation, and then also with this the hypo thing, I can't quite understand what's going on with the hypo thing. And I mean, I'm just telling you what I have, what I've had over the last 3 years. First year, because I remember I called up Will Slough and I told him in 2010, because I was producing hypos. The first time I brought a banana to a hypo, there was visual hypos in the clutch, and that female had not seen anything hypo the year before, so there was no retained sperm. I knew that much. And this is the very first breeding trial I did back in 2010. I called up Will Slough, and I was like, hey, thank you for selling me one that was heifer hypo. And he's like, I didn't know it was heifer hypo, but he told me. So, kind of goofy, huh?
Yeah, but you never know what everybody's breeding and got going on in their secret project, and what's carrying what now. It's you see those posts that'll pop up on the internet, like, this Lucy popped out of this, or an albino popped out of here, like.
Yeah.
It's getting out there to the point where, I don't know, you're going to be getting stuff out of the pet store and be able to breed them together and come up with something.
That's true. That's 100% true. I can't remember. I'm friends with Chad Halker. I remember Chad Halker produced his own line of platy daddies, and I'm not sure if he got his animal. I thought he told me it came from a pet store, but maybe I was wrong. I don't want to misquote him, but it was something cool like that, where he just got in this normal-looking snake, didn't even have a clue, bred it to a butter or a lesser, and boom, hatched out his own platy daddy line. Kind of neat. So kind of cool. Very special. Kind of. That nothing like that's ever happened to me, Jason. Everything for me, I have to work really hard for. It just doesn't happen for me. So, but that is cool watching people, be able to do things like that. It's I say when that happens to them, it's very special. Wish it happened more to me, but you're right. Everybody's with all the different mutations and stuff out there, Jason. I think, people are getting snakes that they're, buying just a Peter female, and they don't even realize it might even be heifer hypo, maybe heifer albino. They just don't even know it. It's because the genes are starting to really get out there in circulation. So it's makes it kind of more exciting when things like that happen, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm waiting for those days to pop out a cool paradox or something like that, at least,
Yeah. When you hatch out a paradox animal, that's totally cool. I'm trying to think back, like when I hatched out. One of the most exciting times for me, I think it was 2007. I had hatched out a caramel glow. It was from the breeding of a double het caramel ghost, animals together, bred them together. I only got 3 eggs, and of the 3 eggs, I got a caramel glow male out of it. That was my original caramel glow male, and it hatched out from that 3 eggs. And I'll never forget, cutting into the egg, looking at it, like going, "Oh, that is beautiful." That snake was so awesome looking. So it was, you get the butterflies in your stomach. We all want to have those butterflies in our stomachs when we're hatching out eggs, or when we're cutting eggs and the babies are hatched out. So those are good times, right?
Yeah, hatched out a few ringers. It seems like this one normal girl likes to throw some ringers. It's interesting, but I'm wondering if it's the butter male. But yeah, just trying to figure it out.
Could be. It could be genetic. You never know. Nowadays, and what I'm seeing now is that any little different mutation or anything that's just a little different, people are really taking it and they're running and working with it. They're really, the snake just looks a little funny or a little different, has a different pattern on it. They're really, breeding the snot out of it and, trying to say, hey, do I have something different here? And sometimes people do. That's the cool thing is people are coming up with some new, different, off-the-wall little morphs that could be great enhancer genes for other things down the road. So, yeah, I give people kudos for working, hard to do that. I know it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort to do that kind of stuff. And it's not always lucrative right away either. So that's another thing we were talking about earlier about not everyone does it for the money, and it's not always about the money. I mean, they're doing that because they're really loving what they're doing. They're having fun with it. Good times. Good times.
Good times cleaning snake poop.
Yeah, my friends, obviously, I have a lot of friends that are not into reptiles, and they actually call me a snake charmer. So I have to hear that all the time. Is, oh, you talking to one of your snake charming friends, or they call us snake charmers. I giggle. I'm just like, we're not snake charmers, but yeah. So a lot of my non-reptile friends they refer to us as the snake charming clan. We're snake charmers. So and I'm like, it's really not that glamorous. It's you clean snake poop and feed rodents to an animal, and that's what you do. And yeah, it's quite the thing that we must honestly love it if we deal with what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. At least I know I do. It's very intense. If you really want to have a good, clean, healthy collection, you got to stay on top of it, and it's a lot of work, especially when you have other things going on in your life, which it sounds like you do too. So it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, as soon as you have some kids thrown in the mix, that kind of takes up all the time.
It does, man. I thought I had life figured out, and then I had two beautiful kids, and oh my God, changes everything. But I love them to death, and they're a lot of fun. And I actually credit them for helping me get out of the snake room. Before they were around, I spent a lot more time obviously in the snake room. But it's it's good to see another side of life because we can become obsessed with our animals, and which is good because obviously we love our herps and we love our reptiles, but it's also, good to spend time with the ones that we love and see the other side of life as well. So, and my youngest daughter, Callie, she's going to be 2 here next month, and she absolutely loves the snakes. And I've got, lots of pictures with her with the snakes, and she loves them. She just absolutely has to. She comes in the snake room, she's grabbing, it doesn't matter if it's a 3-foot snake, she's grabbing it, she's, be playing with it. She really, really enjoys them, and it's kind of interesting to see. I think she's going to really, be a helper for me in the future. I think, she's really, I've already got her, plans to give her own rack and have her own little breeding projects. I mean, this is stuff I'm looking forward to down in the future. So, hoping she gets bit by the bug like I did.
That's awesome. Sounds like she got bit like my 2-year-old. Every day she wants to come down and look at the snakes, man. It's pretty awesome. It's awesome, isn't it? When they go, snakes, Daddy, I want the snakes. It's like, oh, yeah, I got to be careful because, hatch out some high-dollar banana males or banana stuff. And, Callie, it's funny. You can put a normal spider on the table. You can put a banana on the table, and then you can put, a pastel on the table. And it seems like that kid will go for the banana every time. I don't know what it is. She's just going for, like, come on, please don't be taking that one. I don't want you ripping that one around. Just please don't do that. So, yeah, I have to fight it away from her. The banana clown male, she gets so mad because she'll see me hold that snake, and she really wants to hold it, and I just don't want her to hold it because I don't want anything to happen to it, So it's like, it's kind of funny. Me and her will have a little argument over it. Yeah,
I hand her a pastel or a, normal head or something. Here you go, play with that. She can look right at me, and even it's funny because even at her young age, she can look at you and she's like, "That's not the same. That is not the same." She wants the beautiful ones. Mhm.
Don't we all?
We do, and it's our quest for the awesome, most coolest designer ball python out there. So, and it's a cool game. It's a cool world, and with all the different mutations that we have out there, Jason, I think that we have a great many years of a lot of cool designer, ball python mutations out there. Just think where, in 10 years, where will this hobby be? Where will this industry be? And, like what kind of animals will people be working with then? It's going to be sick. It's going to be pretty wild. Be an interesting ride, huh?
Yeah. So what are you putting into that Ultramel project?
You bet. I've got the Ultramel Glow project going on, which is going to be like the caramel glow. I've already got breedings going on over here for that with double heads that I produced myself, and I hope to make a, ultra glow this year. God willing, if that's going to happen. I also am going to breed a pewter head Ultramel male to, I got 2 visual female Ultramels that are at like 13, 14 millimeters already. I ultrasounded 2 days ago. I ultrasounded, and so anyhow, they got follicles. So I hope to make a pewter Ultramel this year. I got an adult female pinstripe head Ultramel, so maybe I can make some of the cool pin Ultramels. I was thinking about maybe breeding a banana to an Ultramel. Do you think that's going to look pretty nice, Jason? You think a Ultramel banana would be a good-looking animal, or do you think it's just going to get all washed out in all the colors? What's your opinion?
I don't know, man. It's something as subtle nowadays as the pastel. What it did to it, you never know. It might just, do a flip on her. So it might be worth your while.
Yeah. I was going to this is a funny story. I bred an Ultramel male to a clown female 2 years ago. Showed a picture of it on the internet. Now the clown female never took. She didn't produce for me that year. And but this year, I can't tell you, Jason. I probably had 20 inquiries, all within like a 2-month period, where people were like, "Oh, we found a picture on the internet. Do you have the double heads? Do you have any double heads for sale? Did you keep any of those? Do you have those for sale? What's the status on those?" It was pretty wild. I don't know what it was that got people all sparked about them, but they apparently, the Ultramel clown is apparently people want that, or they're into it. So my good friend Chris Zarnick, he has the Ultramel male, and he's going to be breeding it to 2 adult clown females over at his place, which he lives right down the road from me. So this year I'm hoping he makes some double het for Ultramel clown this year. So we could. That's I'm not doing it. That's he's doing it, but I'm looking forward to him making some double hets and then, working the project further and making Ultramel clowns. I think that'd be a pretty cool looking animal. So
yeah,
of course. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you can't go wrong with those 2 genes right there.
No, you can't. I'm friends with Ray Wilkie, and he had great success with the Ultramel gene, this year, and they made the pinstripe ultras, and he's made tons of stuff. So, yeah, the Ultramel project is really starting to take. It's starting to get wings. That project's starting to fly, and it's sad, Jason, that the caramels have the kinking and the females have the fertility issues that they do have, and so people are kind of shying away from them. Because the caramel gene is a beautiful gene in and of its own self. And, I used to have a huge caramel, collection over here. But I got really tired, Jason, of hatching out animals that were all kinked up. You hatch out a caramel glow male, and it's all kinked up. And you have to euthanize it because the animal's not going to live or eat on its own. It really sucks. It's a beautiful snake to put down. You don't want to have to do that. And, so I think the Ultramel project's really filling that gap where the caramel gene kind of got left out. And you're going to see a lot of people working with the Ultramels because, again, people love color. An adult Ultramel is a beautiful animal, very beautiful animal.
Yeah, definitely in the future on the list. I've always wanted to get into the caramels, but just, I didn't want to deal with what you brought up, just the kinking and the infertility, and just didn't seem appealing to me,
No, you don't want that. I had like 6 adult female caramels, bud, and this is in the mid-2000s, and I bred them to champagne males and all those stuff. Anyway, ultrasounding them, making sure they're getting graphic, doing every, thing I needed to do. And then, boom, they lay a big old pile of slugs. And, Jason, you just sit over there and you scratch your head and go like, damn, it's like, damn, all that time and energy and get my hopes up, and then boom, look what happened. And that, it's just, and I'll be the first to admit it when, you put all that energy into it, and then boom, when you get all the slugs, you just get really frustrated. You get really, it beats you down, Jason. It really does.
Well, tell us about that super paintball. That thing is pretty badass looking.
It is. I consider him to be the same thing as Ralph Davis's Neo, which when you had Ralph, I listened to the Ralph Davis episode. Did he talk about Neo at all? Did he talk about that on the episode?
We brought it up there.
Okay, yeah. I got my animal from Charles Gillespie. I think that's how I pronounce his name. And he's a real cool, nice guy. And anyway, I got my super paint from him. And I've actually, again, me only having 300 animals here, I can't do all the projects here at my house. And so I actually gave with super paint mail to one of my good friends, Jim Stepplug of Southwest Wisconsin Reptiles. And he's bred the last 2 years. And we've made hets, and we've hung on to some hets, and we've sold a couple. The cool thing about those is that the hets, Jason, the hets, they look kind of granity. They look like, like a genetic granite type animal, just a little bit. That's like the best way. They look like a normal, don't get me wrong, but they also have a granity type appearance to them. I don't know the full thing of the genetics. I know I've talked to Ben Siegel about it a little bit, because he's got his version of it. I can't. What you know what he calls his version of the super paint? The Sentinels, right? The Super Sentinels. I think that's
Sentinels. Yeah, yes, correct.
Yeah. Me and him were talking. Because I think some people are saying that it's a simple recessive mutation. Some people are saying it's a codom or mutation. I don't know. That's why I have a super paint male, because I just figure, hey, if it's codom or recessive, it doesn't matter for me, because everything I'm making is going to be carrying the gene. So every het that we make is going to be 100% het. No matter if it's that's the way I like about working with the super paint. But anyway, I do have some big plans for the super paint this year. I know there's a couple of breedings that I want Jim to do. I think we need to get brought into the banana for one, because I think a super paint banana is going to be sick looking. Me and Jim have super paint or paintballs set for albino. So we're going to be working not this year, but next year towards the albino super paint, which I think that's going to be a pretty sick looking, cool looking animal. And then we need to get it plugged into the ghost as well. There's a couple things I want to do with that project. It's a neat looking snake. It really is. That super paint project is super cool. So it's something that's where I kind of want to take it, because it's definitely a sick looking mutation. Have you ever seen one in person by chance?
No, I haven't. I just saw the Sentinel on YouTube a while back, and then I've seen them on the internet, of course.
Mhm. Right. Right. Yeah, they're nice looking, man. There's something in their bellies, man. Their bellies are all white. They're perfectly all white bellies. The Superform does. So, yeah, they're a neat looking snake, neat looking mutation. I think, like I said, the albino Superform, the ghost Superform, I think there's a lot to be done with that project. It just, it's just taken a while, I think, for people to get it all worked out, and I don't have. I need to put probably more time and energy into it. Is what I probably need to do. So, cause that's a neat project. Mm-hmm. So, go ahead. What other questions you got for me, Jason?
Just what shows you've been if somebody want to come out and check you out in person.
You bet. First of all, I do get asked quite a bit for people to come over here to my my residence where I have the animals and stuff, and I have a closed facility here. I got to really get to know you really well before I let people come over, just for security issues. And since I have my family and stuff here, for me to open up my life like that, I'm kind of guarded. But I do go every year to Daytona, and I've been there. I also vend every year in Tinley Park, and then I also vend every year in Anaheim, California. So those are the 3 reptile shows that I do every year. So you can see me at those shows. I'm just too darn busy to make it to any other shows, which I know is my own fault. I wish me living in the middle of the country here in Nebraska, I hate to tell you, bud, we just don't have hardly any, real herp support, or there's not a lot of shows here. We have a local Omaha show, which is a nice show, and I stop in at that show. I think they get about 1,500 people through the door. They do it twice a year. But we just don't have any good, sizable, nice herp shows. I'd be all for like a show in Denver where you could get all the West Coast people and get people from the East Coast to come to, and get a good 20,000 person show at that venue in the middle of America. I think it'd be kind of a good idea, but I'm kind of surprised no one's ever done that. No one's kind of went for a big show in the middle of America. So wish they did. It'd be kind of cool, because it sucks for guys like me. Where are you located at, Jason?
I'm upstate New York. It's just on the border of Pennsylvania there.
So you go to the White Plains show, right?
Yeah, we go to White Plains, and we also go to Hamburg.
Yep, and you got Hamburg. See? Yep, so you have 2 good shows right there, White Plains and Hamburg. See, I don't have anything that's even close to like, for me. If I have to get in a plane, if I want to go to a snake show, so that kind of bites. I wish there was a cool, herp show or snake show close to me that I could go drive 2-3 hours and I could be there. It'd be awesome. It'd be nice. It just doesn't work out that way. So, but it's just where I live, and I know that. So you're very fortunate with where you live that you get to, go there and have 2 awesome shows. I hear the Hamburg show is nice. I hear the White Plains show is nice too. So, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Definitely a deciding factor. If I only have to drive 3 hours, I mean, I really do want to try to make it to Tinley, but it's a 9-hour drive. But
you should
3 hours
recommend
in one day.
Right. And I would recommend, Jason, if you're wanting to go just to one show in the United States now, and you want, let's say, honestly, you're in a ball pythons, which I'm into, the Tinley Park show is where it's at. The Tinley Park show is where, that's where is the ball python show. That's where you can go there. You'll see all the different variations. You'll see all the ball pythons there. So that's the show to go to, Ben. It really is.
Shooting for March, man. I'm crossing my fingers. Are you vending?
I am vending. Me and Beppo got tables there. I'm not sure. I still have some inventory left, but I don't know how much inventory I'm going to have left for that show. But yeah, the fall show is the one I'm looking forward to. So if I was you, save up your money and I would go in the fall. You'll see a lot better selection.
All right, I'll have to take that to heart. I've definitely, I've been trying to hit it up for a couple of years now, and it's like you're gonna do it or you're not. I'm just like, okay, maybe in the spring. Yeah, so it might be the fall. Who knows?
Good luck to you, buddy. Good luck to you.
So is there anything else you'd like to add before we close?
No, I'm sorry. I'm getting tired. I apologize. I hope we hit on a lot of things. I'd like you to have me on some other time, hopefully next summer or something, to have some cool babies hatching. I really enjoyed doing your show. It was a lot of fun. And thanks for letting me talk about snakes. That was cool. It was a lot of fun. Hope I get exposure to newer people coming into the industry that maybe didn't know as much about me and all that other stuff. So I really appreciate it, Jason. I really do.
No, man. Like I said, man, I appreciate you guys participating. Without you guys helping me out, the show wouldn't happen. So thank you.
No problem, buddy. No problem. Thank you, Jason.
All right, well, make sure to check out Brock's website at www.brockwagnerreptiles.com. All right, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Her Per Pray. Don't forget to subscribe and comment in iTunes. And as always, we're streaming live on RossiReptiles.com, Stitcher Radio, and the podcast app. Her Per Pray, out.
Hey, everybody, it's Ralph Davis from Ralph Davis Reptiles. You're listening to Jason Rossi of Her Per Pray. Ralph Davis, out.